Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles Sabanson, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we have a great show for you guys that I cannot wait to discuss. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video, sub to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. My handle is CTABANZ. So let's get into today's topic. Yesterday, we did a show where I went off on Stephen A. Smith over some comments that he made about U.S. Representative Jasmine Crockett. And we also reacted to some comments that Roland Martin said in response to him. So Stephen A. Smith wanted to show a straight shooter, and he essentially was calling out Jasmine Crockett for the way she speaks, how she's talking to the president, et cetera, accusing her of not doing her job. And then people like Roland Martin and others stepped up to the lectern and essentially told him, look, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. She's doing what she's actually doing her job. She's representing the 750,000 people in the district, a place in which he votes for. And then we did a show, and I essentially was saying that, look, I believe that this guy's grifting, right? I believe that he's a political grifter, and I think that these grifters need to be called out. I think these people are disingenuous. I don't think they're adding anything to the conversation, and they're just up here. It's just one big money grab for these guys. For those of you who follow this channel, you know I'm not a fan of LeBron. I really mean it. On and off the air, I really mean it. I'm not up here twerking. I'm up here formulating my opinions. I believe what I believe. I'm a Kobe guy. I like Kobe. I'm a Jordan guy. There's nothing fake. I'm not doing it because, people want to hear that. No, I generally don't believe that. And I argue with people all the time about it. Right. But at least people know that I'm being sincere. And I wouldn't come up here and start twerking it up all over the table. Oh, because, he likes, because LeBron is the best way to get views or get a sponsorship. I'm not doing that. Right. It's not worth the money. And I don't understand why people like Stephen A. Smith, who are making a purported $40 million a year, why they're resorting to doing these kind of things. Why are you grifting? It's not like as if you need the money. I mean, I know you want more money. I know you've made it abundantly clear that seems to be your whole purpose in life. Waking up in the morning, how much can you imagine that being your manifesto every single morning? My God. I mean, goodness gracious, that was pretty telling. So we did a show about that yesterday. People are reacting to it. People are giving their thoughts. And I said in that show that I am amazed that people even take Stephen A. Smith seriously. And I said that what he's been doing is this grifting that he has done is actually triangulated him into a position where now no one takes him seriously. Some people think that people take him seriously. Nobody takes Stephen A. Smith seriously. So I decided to run a quick test on our channel yesterday. We have about close to 240,000 subscribers. And I put up a poll last night, a few hours ago. And I asked the following question, and I want to show the first poll. The first poll says, if you are a Republican, would you consider voting for Stephen A. Smith in the general election? Out of the close to 2,000 voters, 91% of them said no. 91% said no. Let's go through some of the comments, and then I'm going to get to the other side of this. One guy said, I wouldn't vote for Stephen A. Smith regardless of whatever my political stance is. Another guy said he shouldn't be the face of ESPN, let alone a political party. One other viewer said he'll just be the worst puppet of them all. Another person said, hell no. Another guy said, would literally write myself in before I did that. Another guy said, what the F? Another person said, he's a sellout. Another guy said, listen to this. I'm a black Republican and he flip-flops to me. Another viewer said, not a chance. And it kept on going on and on and on. Now, why did I run that poll to ask Republicans this? The reason I asked these people, and I'm going to get to what Democrats said, is because this is the group that he's pandering to. He's been grifting to them. Although he voted for Kamala Harris, although he supported her all the way to the voting booth, he's been pandering to them for the last, 10 months now. And after all of that grifting and pandering, he has not been able to convince more than 9% of voters that they should vote for him. Not more than 9%. And I believe if you superimpose this poll over hundreds of thousands of people, the numbers are probably skewed the same. Let's get to the next poll that we ran. I asked, if you are a Democrat, would you consider voting for Stephen A. Smith in a general election? Out of the 1,200 people that voted, 90% said no. 10% said yes. Let me read you what some of these people said. One guy said, hell no. Another guy said, no Democrat has a chance until 2032 minimum. Another guy said, this is a dumb question. You already know the answer. Another guy said, hell no. He said, one of the viewers said, hell no, no more TV clowns in the Oval Office. One other viewer said, that man is a serious, and I mean serious, grifter. And it kept on going on and on and on. Now, why is this information important? The reason it's important is because it exposes that whatever strategy Stephen A. Smith seems to have is not working. So when him and Bill Maher sat down and had that conversation where they were talking, when Stephen A. Smith asked him, who do you see as a potential candidate to run in the general elections in 2027, 28? And Bill Maher said, I'm looking at one of them right now. And Stephen A. Smith said, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it because of my money. I wouldn't do it because I don't want to lose my money. Democrats are not voting for Stephen A. Smith or a candidate like him. Why? Because he has spent the last almost 1 year insulting them. He's been insulting the party, insulting their elected officials. So why would they support him? He thinks they're dumb. Then conservatives who are using Stephen A. Smith as a fool, he's a useful idiot to them. If you think conservatives will vote for Stephen A. Smith, you are smoking something hot. Yeah, you can go up there. He can entertain them. Yeah, he can go up there and do 1 or 2 segments with Sean Hannity or whoever else would sit down and do a conversation with Chris Cuomo or whomever. But you think they would seriously consider voting for him? It would never happen. Never. And this is the problem when you grift. Because you end up grifting yourself into a position where no one takes you seriously. Yesterday, we did a show where we're reacting to a thumbnail that I saw from Valuetainment where they literally said, is Stephen A. Smith a political flip-flopper or a flip-flopper? Fox News, a network that he's been on numerous occasions, they asked the question, is he a flip-flopper? The guy doesn't even understand what conservatives are really after. Like when the Jeffrey Epstein situation reached a fever pitch and the conservatives really wanted that information to become public in terms of the people on the list and what they did, allegedly, this guy was like, oh, I don't understand what the big deal is. I mean, you guys must not have a life. And then he goes out and says, we don't even know if the list exists. And I'm like, but Pam Bondi already said that it does. And I'm like, he's like, oh, I guess I missed the mark there. People are calling him out to the point where now he feels like he needs to clarify why he didn't vote for Trump. He's just grifting and regurgitating information that he heard on the news. That's all. And the thing that annoys me is, why are you doing this? You got money. You don't need to do this. So what if you have an opinion? Give it and move on. Look at Patrick Bet-David, for example. I used to be a huge follower of his. Patrick Bet-David is now damn near a political voice. And he lost of a lot of his viewers, but he also gained some. But guess what? At least he's saying what he believes. At the end of the day, agree with him or disagree, you're not confused about where he stands on issues. He's generally in the same place. He's generally consistent. But if you ask Stephen A. Smith one question on Monday, he'll give you an answer. The next day, another answer. Well, bro, ain't no independents winning the White House. Ain't no independents with a major platform in politics. The country's too polarized. People are too dug in. And people want to know, where do you stand on issues? And the problem is this grifting is becoming rampant. It's like a pandemic of grifting. People are just saying and doing whatever, selling their asses for the almighty dollar. And I have no respect for you at the end of the day. If it means you made $10 less million in your lifetime, but you could keep your integrity, you can look in the mirror and know everything I'm saying, I truly believe that's more valuable to me and many others. And the part that kills me is that these bloody grifters, like, they feel like they're really getting it over on you. Now they're even starting to get called out, some of them. Like, you're grifting. You're a bloody grifter. We know the game. And for what? For money? Is it that important to you? I don't understand. These are my thoughts. This is truly what I believe. Catch you guys on the next episode. Leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you guys later. Peace.